And welcome back to Dunn Field. The Pioneers have taken the field here in the top half of the first inning. The Doubledays will look a little something like this through the order. Carson Gross, James Mason, Hazel Martinez, your first three. Bobby Stain, Garrett Prosper, A.J. Wenrich, your 4, 5, and 6. Christian Malillo, James Bolton, Michael Woolley, your 7, 8, 9. And Emil Sander will be doing the 10-hole batting in playing center field. Let's take a look at how the Pioneers will line up defensively behind Joseph Keltson, Kevin Ness, Cam Levesque, Cooper Smith, left to right in the outfield, Joe Muzio, Jay Keller around the infield, and John Schroeder behind the plate doing the catching. For Keltson this year so far, 1 for 2 on the season at 2.25 ERA. In 32 innings pitched, he's given up 10 runs, 8 of them earned. He's given up 34 hits, walked 15, struck out 22. Opponents batting .274 on the year against the right-hander. Carson Gross, the switch hitter, will lead us off here in the top half of the first inning. Auburn looking to continue their winning ways. They are on a 7-game winning streak, 8 if you count the exhibition game back on Thursday night against the Finger Lake Lakers. Shadows in play in front of home plate with the overhang from the press box as well as the grandstands. The right-hander Keltson looks in. The first pitch on the way to Gross is swung and chopped over to first base. Kelleher's got it. He'll take it himself over to the bag. And the first pitch of the ball game is a ground out to the first baseman, Jay Kelleher, 1 away. That will bring up James Mason, who's the last couple of nights has had a very memorable last couple of ball games, had himself a game-winning RBI double against the Lakers, and last night was the man responsible to bring in the game-winning run. The first pitch on the way, swung and fouled back to the screen. Nothing in 1 the count. Well, the tarp has been laid down and put to rest during a couple of off days for Elmira, so all the grass in the infield, there is a dead square going across the field. Here's the 0-1 pitch on the way. Breaking ball catches the edge on the outside corner for a called strike 2. So this could be a very interesting day for infielders. Here comes the 0-2 pitch coming home. Breaking ball, check swung and fouled off over to first base. A couple of fans in attendance brought their gloves and made the catch down below. Still no balls and 2 strikes to James Mason. Entering this ball game batting .240 with a couple of RBIs, 6 for 25. Takes a fastball downstairs low for ball 1 ball and 2 strikes. Sunshine still raining down from the first base side. That sunset will continue throughout the ball game. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball swung and chopped foul back behind the plate. I'll try it again at a 1-2 count. James been getting on base quite a bit this year, a .387 on base percentage entering into this ball game, getting his first start in the 2 spot tonight. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball sent off into the air to the left field, right to Kevin Ness, who waits patiently with the shades on. Puts the squeeze on it for out number 2, 2 away, and that will bring up Hazel Martinez. So a couple of quick outs, and that will bring up the 3-hitter for the Doubledays. Batting .313 on the year with 26 RBIs. He's number 2 on the ball club. 9 doubles, a home run, and has walked 24 times. Here's the right-hander's first pitch to Martinez. A fastball taken outside for ball 1. One of the only teams that doesn't give the Hazel Martinez shift. The infield playing straight up with the third baseman, Muzio, playing deep in the 6-hole. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball catches the inside corner for a called strike 1. Even up the account at 1-1. Here comes the right-handers, 1-1 to the plate. Breaking ball waved at and missed on the outside corner. Maybe even a changeup pulls the string on Martinez. Now it's down 1-2. Gets back in the box in the left-handed hitter. Here comes the right-handers, 1-2 pitch to the plate. Breaking ball chopped foul back behind home plate. We'll try this again at 1-2. Doubledays entering into this ball game 5-8 on the road, 2-4 in the season series against the Pioneers. They will see Elmira a couple more times to close off the season. Here comes Keltson's 1-2 pitch to the plate. Breaking ball slapped foul down the third base side out of play off the roofing of the visitors' clubhouse, and we'll try it again at 1-2. Martinez putting up a battle. And we've seen a lot of Doubledays hitters be able to battle up with 2 strikes. Here comes the 1-2. Here's a breaking ball sent in the air to shallow right center field. Moving in on it is Cooper Smith. He's there in the right center field gap to make the catch, and the side is retired. Auburn goes 1-2-3 in the top of the first inning. We now go to the bottom half. The Doubledays, nothing, and the Pioneers coming up. Cooper Polkovich takes the mound for the Doubledays here in the bottom half of the first inning. He's got Christian Malillo, Emil Sander, A.J. Wenrich out in the outfield, James Mason, Carson Gross, Michael Woolley, and Garrett Prosper in the infield. And behind the plate, the battery mate is James Bolton. The Doubledays left-hander currently on the season, 2-0 with a 3.25 ERA. In 27 2/3 innings pitched, he's given up 15 hits, 10 runs. All of them earned, has walked 10 and struck out 24. He will face off against Cam Levesque, Joe Muzio, and John Schroeder here in the bottom half of the first inning. The left-hander takes his place on the third base side. The slab closed off. The first pitch on the way is a fastball that tails off the outside corner for ball 1-0. Doubledays in their road reds with gray bottoms, and the Pioneers in their home reds with white bottoms. Levesque stands back in middle of the batter's box. Here comes the 1-0. Fastball taken upstairs for ball 2. 2 straight balls to start the ball game off. Emil Sander playing quite shallow in center field, not letting anything fall in front of him. Here comes the 2-0. Fastball pulled upstairs and away for ball 3. 3 straight balls to begin the ball game for Polkovich. The right-hander in Levesque batting .261, 11 for 42 this year. Here comes our left-hander's 3-0. Fastball taken at the letters for a called first strike, 3-1. Polkovich enters the strike zone for the first time in the ballgame. Doubledays defense playing straight up on the infield. A very dusty one at that. Here comes a 3-1. Breaking ball. Catches a very tip of the outside corner. Levesque was already heading down to first base. Gets pulled back by the home plate umpire. Now getting an explanation before digging himself back in the box. Cooper making his way back into the count after starting 3-0. He's worked it back to full. The left-hander looks in. Bolton sets up away. The 3-2 pitch is a fastball taken off the outside corner for ball 4. Bolton was just about to send the toss down to third base, but it's a ball 4 just nibbling off the outside corner. A man reaches base for the first time, and that will bring up Joe Muzio. Muzio batting .259 entering into this ball game, 21 for his last 81. He's been here for the entirety of the season. It'll be a lefty-lefty matchup with Muzio, the left-hander, stepping in. Infield shifted into a double play depth. Here's the first pitch on the way. Breaking ball misses the outside corner for ball 1. And we are in prime foul ball territory up here on the rooftop of Dunn Field at Memorial Stadium. We get a perfect view in just behind the right-hand batter's box. A move over to first base, back in with a dive safely is Levesque. Well, it doesn't look like this infield got treated with any water in between batting practice, so not only is the grass, but the dirt is also dried up and dusty. Here comes the 1-0. Swinging a pop-up on the infield. Michael Woolley drifting back onto the grass. Emil Sander comes in, but it's Michael Woolley who drops back and then trips on himself, falling into a backward somersault before getting helped up by his outfielders. It's the first out, a pop out to the second baseman, and that will bring up John Schroeder. Getting the job behind the plate tonight is Schroeder, with Levesque still at first base after his walk. Possible steal threat aboard as now time is called as Woolley is going to retie his right shoe. It looks like that was the one that could have caused him to trip out in the outfield. Was backpedaling. We talked about the grass on the infield, but the outfield grass as well not getting treated because of the tarp. So there's a big, just a diamond pattern you can see from us, at least from our angle. Move over to first base, back in diving safely as Schroeder, or make that Levesque. You can see just a big dead rectangle of grass going out to behind the second base bag. Here's the first pitch on the way. Fastball pulled outside. Bolton able just to reach across and keep the baseball in his reach. 1 ball, no strikes, 1 away. Runner takes his lead off of first base. Infield pulled around a little bit to the right-hand side. Here comes the 1-0. Breaking ball gets a sword on the back foot. A swinging strike from Schroeder. Now the count will leave it up at 1-1. Auburn has yet to win inside of Dunfield. They are 0-3 traveling down to Elmira. Here comes the 1-1 home. Breaking ball waved at and missed. A strong swing by Schroeder comes up empty. Now the count drops to 1-2 from Polkovich. Uncle was in the Pittsburgh Pirates organization for a number of years as a major leaguer, and his cousin is currently the 26th prospect in the Mariners organization. The 1-2 pitch on the way is swung on and fouled back to the screen. We'll retry at 1-2. That's Caden Polkovich. He is currently in Modesto at the Low A facility for the Seattle Mariners. Cooper headed to Potomac State Junior College in West Virginia, one of the top JUCO programs in the nation. Prosper anchoring the runner on. The runner takes off. The throw to Prosper. Now over to Carson Gross at second base, and he is waiting patiently like a mouse trap. Catches the runner in between first and second. It's a pickoff. Cam Levesque is erased off the base pass, and it's still a 1-2 count to John Schroeder. Elmira entering into this ball game still in bags of 97, so Cooper knowing that Elmira likes to run. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Home breaking ball popped up on the infield. Michael Woolley, he's got this one now on the infield grass. He's there to make the catch, and the side is retired. A runner reaches on a walk, but is picked off, and the Doubledays are able to escape with a runner left out of play. We now go to the top half of the second inning. The Doubledays and the Pioneers still tied up at 0-0. Picking things up here in the top half of the second inning, the Doubledays will send up Bobby Stang, Garrett Prosper, and A.J. Wenrich. 4, 5, and 6 due up against Joseph Keltson. The right-hander deals the first pitch on the way to Bobby. It's a breaking ball down in the dirt for ball one, 1-0. Last night, Bobby was 0 for 1, but he walked 4 times against Geneva. He was practically a non-negotiation guy at the plate last night. Here's the 1-0. Fastball misses outside for ball 2, 2-0. That's been a common theme for some teams, just trying to find ways to pitch around Bobby and not let him hurt you. But with nobody on him, it's a little shocked that Keltson wouldn't go right after him. Here comes the right-handers 2-0. Breaking ball pulled outside for ball 3. 3 straight balls so far to Bobby to begin the top half of the second inning. We apologize for any possible technical issues, technical delays that we've experienced here tonight. Here's a 3-0. Fastball misses down low and in the dirt for ball 4. So Bobby takes the jog over to first base. It's the Doubledays' first base runner of the ball game, and that will bring up Garrett Prosper. Prosper entering into this ball game, batting .225 with 20 RBIs, 4 doubles, and a home run. Still finding his way on base with a .358 on-base percentage this year. Bobby with a short lead off of first base. Infielders pulled around to the left side with a ran on the infield grass. Joe Muzio, the first pitch on the way is a fastball spiked in the dirt for ball 1. So 5 straight balls to begin the top half of the second inning for Keltson. It's been a good last week or so for the Doubledays. A winning streak that started back on Friday. The 1-0. Fastball misses outside for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. Make that 2 balls now and no strikes. So 6 straight balls to begin the top of the second. Auburn was walked a total of 15 times last night. Here's the 2-0. Swinging a fly ball, left field, medium death, right for Kevin Ness. He waits this ball to land in his mitt. 1 away. Bobby retreats back to first base, and that will bring up A.J. Wenrich. Wenrich digs in with a 1 out and a runner aboard at first base. Here's the first pitch. Fastball catches the inside corner for a called first strike. Nothing in 1 on the Doubledays right fielder. It was an 0 for 3 night for AJ. A couple of walks. The 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball inside that ties him up in a knot. Now down 0-2. Keltson quickly back on the mound, leaning in to get his sign from Schroeder. Bobby with his lead off of first base. Comes the right-handers. 0-2 pitch to the plate, and now a move back to first base, and diving in safely is Bobby at the first base bag on the back corner. Partly cloudy skies over Dunfield. Here comes the 0-2 pitch, swinging a foul ball off to the right-hand side. Off a breaking ball, jams Wenrich. We'll try it again at 0-2. Christian Malillo due up next. 1 away for the Doubledays. Here comes the right-handers. 0-2 to the plate. Fastball taken for a called third strike on the outside corner. Wenrich slowly makes his way back to the third base dugout. 2 away, and that will bring up Christian Malillo. It's not been a tidy game for Wenrich here. Last couple of games, it's on a lot of strikeouts, and that's been a common occurrence so far this year. His 32nd strikeout of the summer. First one of the ball game for Keltson. 2 away. Christian Malillo, the batter, batting .253 on the year so far. Here's the first pitch to him. Fastball taken on the inside corner for a called first strike. Doubledays offense looking for answers here tonight. Offense was a snail pace after having bases loaded in almost every other inning. Here's the 0-1. Change up off the outside edge, well off the plate. Count will even up at 1-1. Doubledays will head off to Jamestown tomorrow for a Sunday doubleheader against the Tarp Skunks, a team who they are 4-0 on the year against. Couple of looks over at first base. Here's a 1-1. Fastball taken upstairs for ball 2. 2 balls and a strike. Infield pulled around to the left-hand side for Melillo, the switch hitter. Third baseman Joe Muzio off to the 5.5 hole. Left field line open. Here comes the 2-1. Swing and a jam shot off the end of the bat, falling in, and it gets by the diving Levesque into center field. Bobby's taking a turn around third. He's getting the wave around. The throw goes into second base. Bobby stands up, and the Doubledays break the scoreboard first here in the top of the second inning. It's a single-run single for Christian Melillo. He ends up on second base after the dive attempt in center field. Levesque grabs his hat in frustration. The Doubledays break the scoreboard first. Off the end of the bat for Melillo. Looked like it jammed him at first. Instead, he just had to go reaching for a changeup off the plate. And just dunked in front of Levesque, laying out, trying to keep the nothing tie. Instead, it gets on by him, and Bobby's able to score all the way around from first base. It helps that he was leaving on contact. Here comes James Bolton. The first pitch to him is a fastball taken off the outside corner for ball one, 1-0. Doubledays the first time in this season to strike first in Elmira. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's a curveball taken down low at the knees for strike one. It's now 1-1. It's a quick turnaround despite it being a 2-1 ball game. It was a very long game last night. Christian dancing off the bag at second, the 1-1. Swinging a tapper down the third base side. Muzio has got it on the infield grass, and he's going to have to put it in his back pocket. Melillo taking a turn around third base. He'll hold there. It's an infield single for James Bolton. 2 outs with runners at the corners. That will bring up Michael Woolley. Mikey entering into this ballgame batting .230 with 6 RBIs. Has a possible 7th waiting at third base. He has 3 doubles, walked 13 times. He's also stolen 3 bags. Definitely a platoon guy. Has seen his success off of left-handed pitching. Right-handers not so much, but there's always a chance he could come up clutch. The first pitch. Swing off the end of the bat. Falling in shallow right field. Cooper Smith on there to make the catch down the line to retire the Doubledays. But Auburn strikes the scoreboard first on a Christian Melillo single. Bobby Stain comes around to score from first base, and Auburn has a 1-0 lead. We now go to the bottom half of the second. Polkovich out on the mound to keep this one at a 1-run lead. Picking things up here in the top half of the second inning. The Doubledays have a 1-0 lead as Cooper Polkovich back out for another inning of work. The first pitch is a breaking ball on the outside corner, called for a strike on the right fielder, Cooper Smith. For Elmira, this is their 39th game of, make that their 38th game of the year, 23-14. Fastball misses outside for ball 1, 1 strike. Currently 13-6 at home, 10-8 on the road. Over their last 10 games, Elmira is 6-3-1. Or one tie came against Niagara. The 1-1. Breaking ball, taking a tick off the outside corner for ball 2, 2-1. Lights have yet to be turned on here inside of Dunn Field. Still plenty of natural lighting. Now the shadow's no longer in effect with the sun hiding behind a couple of clouds. Here comes the 2-1. Breaking ball off the end of the bat over to shortstop. Carson Gross chests it up, throws across the diamond, not in time. Prosper leaps to keep the baseball on the infield. A high throw with Carson trying to rush it over to first base, but no match for Cooper Smith. He's aboard safely. They're going to give Carson an error after knocking it down with his chest, so the leadoff man reaches on base with Carson's 6th error of the year. Now bring up Chris Bear, and we talked about the infield. It's going to be a tough one for both ball clubs. A dried up infield grass makes it almost play like dirt itself. The first pitch is a line drive foul down the first baseline, out of play. No balls and a strike. Cooper now trying to work around the leadoff error. And we just talk about every time we've come to Elmira, it's just been a tough atmosphere and a tough environment to play in. The 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball sent foul down the right field line. Weinrich will give it a chase, but it ends up off past the tarp down the first baseline foul, and that tarp is the reason for all this. Just a perfect diamond pattern of dead grass from behind the plate all the way out to shallow center field, a big triangle. Make that a big diamond, perhaps. The 0-2, move over to first base. Back in safely standing is Smith with the left of the mid on. He's already inching off the bag at first base. Cooper working from the third base side of the rubber. Closed off, comes set. The right-hander Bear ready. Slow move back to first base. Polkovich hitting on into almost a power tree move in yoga, and then sending a throw over to Prosper. Back in safely was Smith, the runner. Leans in, gets his sign from Bolton, who sets up away. Here comes the left-hander's 0-2. Swinging a tapper foul down the third base side. We'll try it at 0-2 once again. Bear batting .342 in his limited at-bats. He's 13 for 38, 9 runs batted in for the Pioneers second baseman. Left-hander peers in. Here comes the 0-2. Runner takes off. Outside the call. The throw to second base. Tag applied. And it's in time to get the runner in Cooper Smith. How about that? It looks like from up here that Smith's foot got in just ahead of the tag, and all time is called as Michael Woolley's taking an extra second before standing up. He's been taking a beating over the last couple of innings. Looks like he got a spike in his foot. Andrew Drum, the third base coach, already has one ejection. That was the last time we came down here to Elmira. If he gets another one, he will be suspended for a game, so he's going to have to keep himself in a little more of a controlled patience. Cannot hurt his ball club with a possible ejection. One away now. Here comes the 1-2. Fastball swung on and missed off the outside corner. The first strikeout of the ball game for Polkovich. 2 away now. That will bring up Jake Keller. Well, Bobby Stang has a terrific arm behind the plate. Bolton, it looks like he had a little fumble, maybe bobbling trying to get the baseball out. Still able to send a dart over to second base. It looked like it was maybe just a hair too late over at second, but Michael Woolley sold the tag. Here comes the first pitch on the way. The left-hander to the right-handed batting Keller takes a breaking ball down low for ball 1. Infield playing back on the outfield grass, and that error, luckily for the Doubledays, gets wiped off. Here comes Polkovich's 1-0. Breaking ball floats back onto the outside corner for a called strike. It's now 1-1. Auburn with as full of a bullpen as they can muster tonight. Gonna have to get through a doubleheader tomorrow. The 1-1. Breaking ball bounces in for ball 2, 2-1. Well, taking a look at the standings currently right now, Batavia and Elmira at the top at 22-13. Elmira a half game back at 23-14. Jamestown behind them at 20-14, 2 games back. Niagara at 19-15, they're 3 games back. Auburn 19-16, 3.5. Here's the 2-1. Fastball runs up away for ball 3. 3 balls and a strike now to Keller. Some overcast clouds still looking off into the distance. We're not expecting any rain here tonight. Every game we've come down here to Elmira, there's been some sort of weather phenomenon. Here comes the 3-1. Breaking ball snaps back over the heart of the plate for a called strike 2. And Cooper's now a strike away from getting his boys back in the dugout with nothing scathed except for an error cut down at second. It's getting loud down below. Here comes the 3-2 pitch on the way. Fastball runs up above the eyes for ball 4. So this atmosphere still continuing to cause havoc. It's a 2-out walk that brings up Spencer Aubin. Well, Cooper was able to work around the leadoff base runner. Now just needs to work about leaving a man stranded with 2 away, as Spencer Aubin really taking his time grooming up the right-handed batter's box, scraping away all the chalk that was laid on before the game. We mentioned there is no water on this infield. We are playing sandlot rules tonight. The first pitch on the way. Breaking ball snaps the inside corner, splitting the edge for a called first strike, 0-1. A.J. Wenrich, the deepest man in the right field. Here comes the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Fastball powers through Aubin and now is down 0-2. We mentioned that the hitters are probably going to have some tough time trying to get footing in the box. We mentioned there was no water placed on the whole infield except for the mound. Here comes the 0-2 home. Breaking ball bodied up by Bolton. The runner takes off for second base, and the throw will come in. Woolley jumping up to retrieve the baseball back. It's a wild pitch. Runner advances to second. With a runner in scoring position and 2 away, Cooper's going to have to work just a little bit harder to keep that man stranded. Wind blowing out to straightaway center field. Not what you want to see if you are a pitcher tonight. Here comes the 1-2 to the plate. Breaking ball taken upstairs and high for ball 2, and the count evens up at 2-2. Cooper's worn the black arm sleeve on his left arm so far for the entire season. So you know we have a guy warming up in the bullpen. It's pretty easy to tell which one it is, especially if they do something like that. The 2-2. Fastball runs outside for ball 3, and now a full count to Spencer Aubin. You don't want to allow more base runners to reach with 2 outs. Don Presto will wait on deck. Aubin batting .214, 9 for 42 with 8 RBIs. The left-hander comes set, takes a look at second. The 3-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball taken for a called third strike on the inside corner. Polkovich, his second strikeout, freezes Aubin, and that will retire the side. Well, 2 runners reach. One is cut down in between first and second. The other one reaches second but is left stranded. We now go to the top of the third. The Doubledays leading 1-0. Picking things up here in the top half of the third inning. The Doubledays with a 1-run lead thanks to a base hit by, well, can you say it is an RBI single? Maybe you can, as Christian Melillo hit a little line drive softly into shallow center field. Center fielder Cam Levesque went to go dive for it. Could not make the catch. It rolled beyond him. Bobby Stang with a runner at first base led off the inning with a walk. Came all the way around to score. Emil Sander will lead us off as the first pitch from Keltson is swung on and popped up foul. Behind the plate off of the mask is Schroeder, but he's going to watch this one fall into the crowd for a strike 0-1. Well, Emil has certainly been playing a lot more consistently since the leaving of Tommy Roldan, and the opportunity has presented Emil with plenty of bunting attempts. He has found his groove, showing off the wheels. The 0-1 pitch. Fastball backs him off the inside corner. The count evens up at 1. Emil entering into this ball game batting .305, 11 for 36, 4 of them being bunt singles. The 1-1. Breaking ball taken off the outside corner for ball 2, 2-1. Interesting zone so far tonight by our home plate crew. It's been relatively tight and then a little expansive at times. The 1-2. Breaking ball tries to test the waters, but that one misses well off the plate into the other batter's box. Now count goes to 3-1, and Emil is no stranger to being walked. He has 10 on the year so far, giving him a .468 on base. Out of the windup, here comes the right-handers. 3-1 to the plate. Fastball jackknives Sander back for ball 4, so the 10-hitter leads off with a walk, and that brings the top of the order back up, Carson Gross. Not to mention that also puts 3 swiped bags aboard at first base, and Ben Julian flashing some signals down from the third base coach's box. Ben Julian down there, Logan Matson at the first base box, and back in the dugout, pitching coach Steve LaRose. Emil with a lead off of first base. Here comes the right-hander's first pitch. Fastball catches the zone on the outside corner for a called first strike, 0-1. Carson, a ground out on the first pitch he saw in the ball game, chopped it right to the first baseman, Jay Keller. Holding on Sander with a huge hole off the right side of the infield. Here comes the 0-1. Breaking ball down in the dirt, but a good stop by Schroeder keeps the baseball within arm's reach. Back to the bag safely is Sander. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. It's gotten awfully quiet compared to when the Doubledays are out on defense. Almost feels like a football atmosphere. Here comes the 1-1. Runner takes off. Pitch is called a strike. The throw to second base is right on the money. And it's in time to catch Emil Sander for the first time this year. Not only that, it's also a called strike 2 on Carson. So 1 away now. Now we'll bring Keltson back into the windup with nobody aboard. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 away. Outfield playing in on Carson. There's a couple of extra base hits this year. Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball taken down in the dirt for ball 2, and now the count evens up at 2. So far, Auburn 1 run on 2 hits, 1 error. Elmira no runs on no hits, no errors. Wind still gusting out to right center field. Here comes the right-hander's 2-2 pitch to the plate, swinging a pop-up over our heads close to us. Do we have a play on it? That's as close as we're going to get to a foul ball this year. Just ended up to the left-hand side on top of the roof. I'm sure we could probably go find the baseball in between innings if we wanted to. Doesn't look like this roof really slopes down. It stays pretty flat. And maybe tonight's the night. Keltson looks in. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way. Fastball taken up and away for ball 3. The count runs full on Carson at 3-2. We mentioned the 2 hits coming back-to-back. Christian Malillo and James Bolton back in at the top of the second inning. Carson battled back 3-2 the pitch. Down in the dirt for ball 4. Back-to-back walks, and that will put 10 stolen, make that 11, stolen bases on first base. Let's see how aggressive the Doubledays will be here with 1 away. That'll bring up good bat-to-ball skills in James Mason. So 1 away after Emil was caught stealing. Carson, healthy lead off the bag at first base. James Mason, we talked about his good bat-to-ball skills. The batter due up. Here's the first pitch. Fastball pulled off the outside corner for ball 1. Well, James has been a star of a couple of tight ball games. He was the hero last night on his fielder's choice, and then was a hero with the double back on Thursday night. Couple of looks over at first base. Carson with his healthy lead. A move back to the bag, and diving in safely from the back corner is Carson, getting the uniform dirty. Infield pulled around to a little bit more of a modified right-handed hitting double play depth shift. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Fastball taken off the plate away for ball 2, 2-0. Not exactly modified pitch outs, but they kind of work that way with the catcher, John Schroeder, with a good arm. He showed it off to Emil, who has pretty good speed. Was cut down on the base pass, and for runners, I don't know how the grip will work with their spikes. Carson takes off. The pitch is outside for a called strike. The throw is in time. Carson Gross is cut down. It looks like there was a missed sign from James Mason. Carson was dead to rights. We normally see a tighter play at second base, but it could have been a missed sign on a hit and run. Count goes to now 2-1 with Doubledays running into 2 outs, back-to-back batters. Now Mason's going to have to try and make up for it here with possibly an extra base hit. Third time Carson's been cut down on the bags this year. The 2-1 is outside for ball 3, 3-1, and there's a possibility that the Doubledays will have 3 straight walks in a row, but only have a runner on with 2 outs. Here comes Kelton's 3-1. Swinging a foul back to the screen, and we'll try it now at a full count. Entering into this ball game, 15 walks surrendered so far for Kelton. He's already got 3 tonight. Here comes the right-hander's full count pitch to the plate. Breaking ball taken inside for ball 4. Ooh, that was tight on the inside corner, and while off with the mask quickly is the home plate umpire. Time is called as Schroeder's going to go out to talk with his hurler. But that was quick for the home plate umpire to grab the mask and throw it right off. He's not going to take anything from these guys tonight. Now it's going to be a very interesting ball game to say the least, and we talked about 3 straight walks for Doubledays hitters here in the top of the 3rd inning. An ideal situation would be the bases loaded. Instead, back-to-back runners caught stealing. That will bring up Hazel Martinez in a big spot here with a runner at first base and 2 away. Trying to keep this inning going with the order coming up, your RBI guys. 5 walks so far in the ball game for Kelton, but he's getting bailed out. Here's the first pitch on the way. Fastball misses outside, maybe upstairs for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. And, well, again, the home plate umpire off with the mask, and he is not liking the body language showed by Joseph Kelton tonight. Very Joe West of him. Mason with his lead off of first base. Here comes the right-hander's 1-0. Swinging a ground ball under the glove of Keller into left, make that right field. Taking the turnaround second base is Mason. He will stay anchored at second. It's a base hit by Hazel Martinez to keep the Doubledays inning alive, and now that brings up Bobby Stang. And now Mason ends up at third base. And there's Mason is at third base now all of a sudden. Looks like the Elmira defense just threw the baseball back to the pitcher, and Kelton, he had his head down all the way, and James Mason ended up at third base on the play. How about that? Heads up base running by the Doubledays. They've just wheeled a man into scoring position at third base now and put Hazel Martinez aboard at first. So there are runners at the corners here with 2 away. Well, if they're going to give you the extra base, you might as well take it. Here comes the first pitch to Bobby. Breaking ball taken low and away for a called first strike, going 1. Mason just all of a sudden just started running. The third baseman, Joe Muzio, is headed back towards his position. No one covering third base. Here comes the 0-1. Fastball taken for a called strike 2, and that gives Bobby a standing look behind the plate as well. Well, this could be a very interesting ball game if both sides are having troubles with the home plate umpire tonight. Hazel with his lead off first base. Here's the 0-2. Breaking ball taken down in the dirt for ball 1. Only 1 strikeout so far tonight for Kelton. That came against A.J. Wenrich back in the top of the 2nd. Infield pulled around to the right side. Heavy pull shift for Bobby. Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball does not snap back down. It's upstairs left high for ball 2. Bobby's now worked the count back to 2-2. 318 with 3 home runs. 34 runs batted in for Bobby this year. The right-hander looks in. Here comes the 2-2. Swinging a jam shot off the hands down to first base, out of play, and off the roofing of the dugout as Jake Kelleher was given chase all the way. It's a lot of foul ground here inside of Dunn Field. This is definitely probably the most foul territory you have in the PGCBL West Division. Batavia is very shaped similar to Falcon Park, and there's not that much foul ground. Both dugouts are relatively close to the home plate area as now the right-hander Kelton takes a step back as Keller wasn't even on the first base bag. It would have been an illegal pitch technically, or a balk if you were to throw. Here comes the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Bobby goes fishing out of the zone for strike 3. It's a second strikeout of the ball game. for Keltson. The Doubledays, despite getting runners on base, they run into a couple of outs and leave the runners stranded at first and third. We now go to the bottom half of the third inning, and already another wacky edition of Doubledays baseball. We'll be back here from the Doubledays Baseball Network. Picking things up here in the bottom half of the third inning, the Doubledays have a one-run lead over the Pioneers. The shadows are back in effect here with the sun setting behind the first base dugout. The grandstands, the press box, and anything in between is starting to show shade out in front of the mound, and not as dark of shade as you might think. It's just a little light evening shade coming in between home plate and the pitcher's mound. So it might be a little bit tougher for hitters to see as this inning progresses. First pitch on the way. Breaking ball catches the inside corner for a called first strike on Dom Presto, the right-handed batter. Elmira last night lost 11-1 to Niagara. The 0-1. Breaking ball taken off the outside corner for ball 1-1 ball and 1 strike. 7-game winning streak for the Doubledays. They are winners of 8 of their last 10. Here comes the 1-1. Swinging a pop-up first base side. Prosper giving a look, but he's going to easily run out of room and watch the baseball fall in on the roof of the dugout down the first base line. Now the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes on Presto. Cooper has yet to surrender a hit so far in this one. An error and a walk, a couple of walks make that, have been the only runners to reach. The 1-2. Fastball taken upstairs for ball 2-2-2. And as we mentioned, we talked about the atmosphere when Elmira's hitting. This fans behind home plate and down the lines get really rowdy. But then when the Doubledays are on offense, it all of a sudden quiets up. The 2-2. Swinging a chopper down the first base side. It's foul, rolling to the first base coach's box. Field update. It's 325 down the fair lines of left field and right field, and it jets out to dead center field at just a tick under 390. Double wall all the way around the field except for right center. The 2-2. Fastball runs inside. Time is called. It's called a hit by a pitch, and it looked like Presto leaned a little tight inside but was able to get the baseball on the shoulder. So another free pass. The first hit by a pitch. Technically the third free pass surrendered by Polkovich so far tonight. I'll bring up Kevin Ness with the man on first base. 1-0 Doubledays lead. They got that run back in the top of the second. Move over to first base. Back in standing safely is Presto, the shortstop. Kevin Ness getting the start in left field tonight. He's been busy defensively getting his first at-bat tonight, though. Big hole on the right side of the infield. The first pitch. Fastball taken down low. Check swing. And it's a ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes to Kevin Ness. Doubledays outfield playing a little more shallow. We talked about the sun being right in the eyes of Carson Gross and Christian Malillo in the outfield. Wenrich in the shade in right field. Here's the 1-0. Fastball taken off the outside corner. Bolton trying to present it back on the edge. Not successful. It's ball 2. Oh, you can hear the fans down below. They are getting into this ball game, trying to will the Pioneers to get on the scoreboard. Move over to first base. Back in standing safely is Presto again. Polkovich has one man picked off. That was back in the first inning. Cam Levesque tried to take second base, but Polkovich held his position, sent his throw over to first base. Big lead by Presto now. The pitch. Swing. Line drive off the tip of the glove of Woolley. It rolls on into right field. There'll be no play at second base as Michael tried to knock it down as best as he could on a slide. Off the tip of his glove, it rolls into right field. It's the first single of the ball game for Elmira. That puts runners at first and second with nobody out, and that'll bring up Eric Charnetsky, getting the designated hitting job, batting in the 10 spot. Lefty versus righty here in the tail end of the bottom of the first inning. That will wrap up the first time around for Polkovich before Cam Levesque in the top of the order will wait. Runner bunts around. The pitch is down in the dirt. Bolton doesn't know where the baseball is. The runners take off for second and third. There will be no play as the runners move up safely. Bolton got to the baseball rather slowly. And Bolton's now going to go out and talk with Polkovich. Looks like they may have gotten the signs wrong. Now they're going to go over the count again. Now they have to work a little bit harder with a man on second and third with nobody out. Tying run 90 feet away. Go ahead run sitting behind Polkovich at second. Corners in, playing on the infield grass, right at the cut. Garrett Prosper at first base, James Mason at third. Carson Gross playing on the outfield grass, Michael Woolley playing a little bit more shallow on the infield dirt still. Corners in, middle back, outfield playing shallow. Here comes the 1-0. Breaking ball catches the inside corner to even up the count at 1-1. There's a big spot here in the early going for Elmira. You talk about Auburn leaving 17 guys on base last night. It was another tough one offensively for Elmira back in Niagara. The 1-1. Fastball catches the outside corner, maybe even a changeup, pulls the string on Charnetsky, and now he's down to a 1-2 count. Batting .241 in 29 at-bats with only one run batted in this year. Runners take their leads off of second and third. The left-hander comes set at the ear. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball, cued foul down the first base slide. We'll try it again at a ball and 2 strikes. The rolling hills in the distance beyond the center field wall. A beautiful green landscape behind the fences of Dunn Field. Polkovich still in the sunshine with home plate and the surrounding infield and shadows. Here comes the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball tipped off the glove. I don't know, never mind. It's not a foul ball. It's a swing and third strike. Bolton couldn't handle the pitch. He ended up putting the tag on Charnetsky. The second strikeout of the ball game. Make that the third strikeout of the ball game, excuse me, for Polkovich. The very big, important first out. And here comes the top of the order in Cam Levesque. Auburn's pitching staff so far this year, a team ERA of .346. They've surrendered 128 runs. 278 and 2/3 innings pitched this year. The left-hander deals the first pitch. Swinging a foul back to the screen. Nothing and 1 the count on Levesque. Up. Overcast clouds come right back rolling over the distance as now the home plate umpire will drop back to retrieve the baseball. There, like I said, there's a lot of foul territory behind the very tip of home plate back to the screen behind the plate. You probably have a good 30-ish yards of landscape to work with, so very important for Bolton to keep everything in front of him. That runner at second could possibly take the turn at third base, and depending on where the baseball is, might take a risk trying to score. Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball, Wakely waved at and missed as Levesque chases one down low. Now the count goes back to Cooper's favor at 0-2. Has 3 strikeouts already so far on the evening. Time is called now by Levesque. He's going to take a second to readjust the batting gloves and the elbow guard on his left arm. Batting from the right-hand side, pants pulled up just beyond the shins. Showing off black socks with the Under Armour shoes. Bat rested on his right shoulder. Polkovich delivers. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball popped up. Center field, Sander drifts in back. He's there to make the catch. The runner at third will tag. He makes the catch. The throw will go into Carson at shortstop. And we are all tied up here in Elmira. And there's the siren. Good Lord, here we go again from Elmira. It's a tie game at 1-1 on the sacrifice fly. Cam Levesque hitting with runners in scoring position, driving in a run. Now a runner will stay at second base. I'll bring up Joe Muzio. So the hit by a pitch ultimately wheels around to score. But there are 2 away, though, here in the inning. Lefty versus lefty, exactly what Cooper needs. Ness dancing off the bag at second. The first pitch is a breaking ball that splits the outside corner for a called first strike, 0-1. As well, some cranes out in the distance, some construction beyond the right center field wall above the Texas Roadhouse sign. Right next to the scoreboard on to the right, there is a target for left-handed hitters to go after. The 1-0. Make that the 0-1 is a breaking ball. It does not catch the inside corner. Bolton's glove really moving back onto the strike zone. Count evens up at 1-1. For Cooper so far, that is the 11th run surrendered this year. Here comes the 1-1. Fastball runs upstairs for ball 2, 2-1. Cooper started out the year as a starter and then was demoted down into the bullpen where he started to show a little bit more promise. But with guys leaving / possible injuries, he's been slated back into the starting rotation. And well, ever since then, he's seen a different type of pitcher that Cooper has been since entering the Doubledays back in early June. Runner dancing off second, the pitch. Fastball does not catch the outside corner. It's now 2 balls and a strike. Make that 3 balls and a strike now. So Cooper having to work a little extra hard to get the Doubledays back in the dugout and back to the offense. 1 run on 1 hit so far tonight for the Pioneers. The 3-1. Breaking ball cued off the end of the bat and sent back to the screen, foul. Now a full count at 3-2. Wind still breezing out towards right center field. Fans starting to get into it down below. It's getting rowdy once again with 2 strikes. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Polkovich coming set. Runner dancing off the bag at second. The payoff pitch to the plate. Breaking ball does not snap back on the front door. Misses for ball 4, and that brings John Schroeder a chance with runners at first and second. Third walk, 4th free batter entering in the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2 outs still remain. But now he has to go up against the 3-hitter in John Schroeder. 0 for 1 so far. He popped out to Michael Woolley to end the bottom of the 1st inning. It was a 1-2-3 clean slate after the walk. Here's the first pitch. Breaking ball. Catches the zone at the top for a called strike, 0-1. Runners at second and first here with 2 away. Coming to you live from Elmira. Big lead over at first base. Prosper playing deep. The 0-1. Swinging a foul down the first base side, out of play. Count goes to 0-2. Ben Julian and Steve LaRose talking down by the dugout on the far side. No balls, 2 strikes. Polkovich has the man in the palm of his hand. Schroeder batting .323 with a home run and 18 RBIs, a dangerous man to deal with. Cooper looking to get out of this inning, only surrendering 1. Here's the 0-2 pitch to the plate, swinging a fly ball, shallow center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit in front of Emil. The throw will go to the cutoff man, and Elmira has tied this thing up. There's that siren again. It's delivered by John Schroeder. An 0-2 pitch that leaks over the heart of the plate. Polkovich watches the ball sail into shallow center field in front of Emil. No chance to get to it. And now it's a 2-run bottom of the 3rd inning that gives Elmira the lead. Kevin Ness comes in to score from second base. Second hit of the ball game, and now time is called as pitching coach Steve LaRose will take the quick walk out to the mound. And the rest of the Doubledays infield will come in for this conversation. Well, it starts out with a hit by pitch and a walk. You do get the strikeout to Charnetsky, but then the wild pitch that moved both runners up to second and third. Well, that's the cause of putting those runners in scoring position. Then you have the sacrifice fly by Levesque, the walk that puts Muzio aboard at second. And Schroeder with the RBI single at first base. LaRose will leave the mound happy. The Doubledays are still on the mound trying to get to Polkovich here and give him enough confidence to will him back into the dugout, only keeping this a 1-run game. Auburn has felt a lot more comfortable with 1-run games coming out of this 7-game winning streak. Currently 5-7 on the year with 1-run wins. That brings up Cooper Smith. He reached on an error back in the second inning and then was cut down, trying to steal second by James Bolton, the catcher. For Schroeder, that was RBI number 19 on the summer. Polkovich setting up from the third base side. He comes set. Bolton sets up away. Couple looks over the runners. The first pitch. Breaking ball misses inside off the corner for ball one. Doubledays, as we mentioned, their bullpen not as full as they would like it to be. You have Austin Miller, Alex Piccolo, Teddy Nelson, James Moore, Michael Sills, and Simon Aluko. Here's the 1-0. Fastball taken upstairs for ball two, 2-0. It was an 0-2 pitch to Schroeder. It was just a pitch that just leaked over the outside. Schroeder strong enough just to flick something into left center field, and here comes James Moore. He's starting to make the trip down the third base line off to left field for the bullpen. The 2-0. Swinging a pop-up foul over our heads, over back beyond the rooftop and heading off to the main concourse down below. 2 balls and a strike now to Cooper Smith. Entering in this ballgame batting .280 with 9 runs batted in. Infield pulled around more to the pull side for the right-hander and Smith. It's a lengthy bottom half of the third inning for the Doubledays on defense. Runners take their leads. Here's the 2-1. Breaking ball off the end of the bat, sent foul down the first base side. Now the count is even to back up at 2-2. Christian Malillo playing a little bit more deeper out in left field. Emil Sander playing shallow in center, and then you have in right field A.J. Wenrich playing pretty much medium depth. Doubledays have their cornermen playing a little bit deeper than their center fielder. All three of these guys can cover a good amount of ground. Runners take their leads, the 2-2. Breaking ball, cute foul off the hands to the first base side of the net. This was supposed to be a 6:35 start time. It didn't start till roughly around 6:42-ish. Quick turnaround tomorrow. We'll be on a 3-hour bus trip early on in the afternoon heading for Jamestown. Going into an off day then on Monday. Runners take their leads, the 2-2. One runner takes off, a fly ball first base side out of play, and the runners will retreat back to their bags. Joe Muzio at second base and John Schroeder behind him started taking off as Polkovich lifted the leg and would have had the bases stolen. Both Carson Gross and Michael Woolley playing away from second base, trying to keep anything they can in front of them and keep that runner from scoring from second. Trying to keep this only to a 2-run inning here in the bottom of the third. The right-hander comes set, delivers the 2-2 again. Swinging a line drive, right center field. Emil Sander giving chase. He's not going to get it. It's down into the gap. It's rolling all the way to the wall. 1 run's in. Following him is Schroeder. He's in the score. The relay will not come in. It is a 2-run triple here in the bottom of the third inning. It's now a 4-run third. And it's now the Pioneers leading 4-1 over the Doubledays, and they're going to have to dig down deep to get them something back. Polkovich battling, trying to find a way to repress Cooper Smith, and he ends up getting a breaking ball on the outside corner. We talk about Emil playing shallow. Sometimes you get burnt when you play that far in. It leads to a 2-run triple. Just like that, they've doubled their lead. Here comes the first pitch on the way. Breaking ball down low for ball 1 to Chris Bear. Polkovich taking his time before making his way back onto the rubber, and James Moore has started to loosen up and get warm a lot faster. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Swing, line drive, center field, but it's cracked. Coming in to start is Sander, and then retreats back, makes the catch, sends a dart back in to end the inning. Polkovich cannot get out of the jam in the third. He surrenders 4. We now go to the top of the fourth. Auburn trying to get themselves back into this. It's 4-1. picking things up here in the top half of the fourth inning. The Doubledays have to come back down 3 against Joseph Keltson, who's been sitting for quite a while in the first base dugout. So the only question is, can the Doubledays respond back after dropping a 4 spot to the Pioneers? I'll bring up Garrett Prosper, A.J. Wenrich, and Christian Malillo. Me the order. The first pitch on the way to Prosper. Fastball runs upstairs for ball 1. 1-0. Well, both starters not really sharp here out of the gates. Volkovich had a pretty good start, but it's been a lot of free passes so far surrendered by the Doubledays young left-hander. The 1-0. Fastball catches the corner on the outside for a called strike. 1-1. Firework night in the ballpark, so that's for the reason for a loud crowd tonight. Here's the 1-1. Changeup pulled outside for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Prosper. Garrett has been walked pretty much more than almost anyone else on this Doubledays lineup, maybe except for Hazel Martinez. Here comes the 2-1. Fastball taken up and away for ball 3. 3-1 the count. That'd be a dream start to get Garrett Prosper on board. Good hitters count at 3-1. Keltson working out of the windup. Here comes his 3-1 pitch to the plate. Swinging a pop-up on the infield. Dom Presto calls everyone off. He's there, step behind second base, 1 away. And that will bring up James, make that Garrett Prosper. Make that A.J. Wenrich. Wenrich 0 for 1 so far with a strikeout back in the second. Auburn already down 4-1 here in the third, and their 7-game winning streak's on the line. Here's the pitch. Swinging a pop-up on the infield again. This time it trickles out to the outfield. Chris Bear backpedaling up, reaches up, and almost finds a way to drop the baseball, catching it a couple of steps behind his back. It's 2 quick outs here in the top of the fourth inning, and that will bring up Christian Malillo. Tough start for Auburn. They got the 1-run lead back in the second inning, and that was quickly erased after a 4-run third for Elmira. Last time the Doubledays have to make the visit down to Dunn Field this year. Ball catches the heart of the plate for a called first strike, 0-1. Safe to say that Keltson has settled back in nicely after the long rest. Here's the 0-1. Fastball taken, maybe a tick off the inside corner. Now Christian's down 0-2 early on. Here comes the 0-2 home. Swing and a miss. A changeup off the outside corner. Malillo goes fishing. And now it is back to the Elmira offense as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. The Doubledays down 3. It's 4-1. Well, that closes the book on Polkovich tonight. He pitches 3 innings, gives up 3 hits, 4 runs. They're all earned. Walked 3, struck out 3, hands the ball off to his bullpen. James Moore called upon early in 13 innings pitched this year. He's given up 16 hits, 8 runs, 2 of them earned. Walked 2, struck out 6. He's given up 3 doubles with an ERA of 5.35. And opponents batting an even 400 on the right-hander this year. He's got to deal with Jake Kelleher, Spencer Aubin, and Dom Presto, 6, 7, and 8 due up in this Pioneer lineup. The first pitch is a fastball swung on and missed on the outside corner. 0-1. Moore out of St. Lawrence University had a brother play in the Cape Cod League last year, a member of the Falmouth Commodores. Fastball pulled down and away for ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike evens up the count. Kelleher, a walk, reached second on a wild pitch, was left stranded in the second. Here's the 1-1. Fastball off the end of the bat and lined into right field in front of Wenrich for a base hit, who has to play it on a weird hop, keeping it in front of him. Leadoff base runner here in the bottom of the 4th inning, and that will bring up Spencer Aubin. Aubin 0 for 1 with a strikeout back in the 2nd inning. That ended the inning. Mentioned Auburn with a quick turnaround tomorrow, headed to Jamestown for 2. Here comes Moore's first pitch. Swinging a tapper foul off the end of the bat of Aubin. 0-1 the count. Outfield playing straight up. The wind now blowing straight down the right field line, going from left to right. Still no lighting turned on yet. Move over to first base. A dart from Moore. Back in diving safely is Kelleher. Sun still showing a little bit of sunshine through the clouds, but is set pretty much set beyond the mountains in the background. So hopefully those lights get turned on rather quickly. Still making it tough to see for hitters. The 0-1. Swing and a miss. A good fastball on the outside corner. Gets a swinging strike 2. And now Aubin's down an 0-2 hole. Re-sliding dirt around the batter's box all the way from the front edge all the way to the back line. That is no longer existent. Here comes the right-hander's 0-2. Off the end of the bat towards shortstop. Gross in the backhand. Sends it to second for 1. The relay to first base. Spiked on a hop in. Ooh, not in time. Just legging it out on the back end is Aubin. But Auburn does get the lead man at second base. Jake Kelleher wiped away. Fielder's choice 1 away. And that will bring up Dom Presto. Presto with a run scored, a hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning. 7 batters reached on bait. More or less 7 batters came up to hit in that 3rd inning. Another move off to first base. Back in diving safely is Presto. Make that Spencer Aubin. Dom Presto the batter. Another throw over to first base. Back in sliding safely is Aubin again. Auburn knows the runners of Elmira quite a bit. We haven't seen the Pioneers in a little while. The first pitch. Breaking ball misses the plate away for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes. But regardless, you still take your notes on guys who will run in. Oh, this lineup is full of them. We talked about 97 run or stolen bags. 22 caught stealing this year. It's a pretty good success rate. Here's the 1-0. Fastball taken down away for ball 2, 2-0. And well, James Bolton wants a new baseball for his right-hander. Well, it's just going to look like another good sunset with some clouds off in the distance beyond the center field wall. Healthy lead at first base by Aubin. Another move back to the bag. Applying the tag is Prosper, but diving in safely is the runner. Auburn, like we mentioned, this is their last visit. Another move, and this time the baseball gets away from Prosper. You throw over enough times, that will send the runner to second base, and that's another run-scoring opportunity for Elmira tonight. The 2nd error of the ball game for the Doubledays. This one coming from the hurler, James Moore. Two-0 count to Dom Presto, and has a Another chance to bring in a run. He has 6 RBIs so far this year, and he's been struggling. 8 for 47, batting a .170. Couple of lead at second. Here's the 2-0. Swinging a chopper foul off the handle of the bat. Rolls away from the batter's box. 2-1 now the count on the way from James Moore. Now the Doubledays defense going to have to work twofold here to keep this runner stranded at second base. 4 runs in to score in the bottom of the 3rd inning. That leads to our score at 4-1. Look over at second base. Woolley backing away from the bag. The 2-1. Breaking ball catches the outside corner at the end of the seam. Count evens up at 2-2 on Presto. Moore, the right-hander, peers in, gets his sign from Bolton, setting up on the inside corner. A look over at second. Short lead. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball, chopped foul down the third base side. A nice play by Andrew Drum, the manager for Elmira. We'll try it again at 2-2. Doubleday still looking for their first win here inside of Dunn Field. They've come close. Every single ball game has ended in a 1-run loss for Auburn this year here at Dunn Field. Couple looks over at second. Here's the 2-2. Fastball spiked in the dirt, but a good stop by Bolton. Keeping the baseball right in front of home plate. Now the count runs full, 3-2. 1 man out after the fielder's choice. Auburn has moved up to second base on the wild throw from Moore, trying to pick him off at first. Bolton sets up inside. Here's the 3-2. Swinging a tapper over to third base. Mason has in the hole. Little bobble, stays with it. No play. It's another error for the Doubledays. Their 2nd of the inning, 3rd of the ball game. And that will bring up Kevin Ness to hit with runners at first and second with 1 away. Well, it's not an easy one here tonight. 32 errors so far for the Doubledays given up. That's numbers now up to 35. Moore working out of the stretch with runners at first and second. The first pitch. Breaking ball catches the zone at the top for a called strike, going 1. Music still playing on through the first pitch from Moore. Fans starting to get themselves back into this ball game. Runners take their leads off first and second. Here comes the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball waved at in the dirt. It's now 0-2. James looking to get his club back in the dugout. All he needs is a ground ball to one of his middle infielders. Moore comes set. Looks in. Here comes the 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball spiked in the dirt, but another good stop behind the plate. Ball and 2 strikes, and now James Moore calls time, and he wants to talk with Bolton. And here comes Michael Woolley on from the second base position. He wants to throw his hat in the ring as well. Doubledays have been so good defensively this year. A 3-error game is so uncanny. They entered into this ball game currently 3rd in the league in fielding percentages, twice in the make that 2nd in the league in errors committed at 32. But those 3 errors tonight drops them down to 35. On the other side for Elmira, a 49 error season. Auburn needs to find a way to take advantage, and well, looks like they have dropped one of the errors on the ball game. Interesting to see which error that one turns out to be dropped. Here comes the 1-2. Breaking ball in the dirt for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. I'll take a look at the box score where that error was called back from. Still no announcement from the live stream. Runners take their leads. Here's the 2-2. Swing, line drive left field, hanging up though for Christian Malillo. He takes a couple of steps in and makes the catch for out number 2. So Kevin Ness lines out sharply to left field. 2 away, and that will bring up Eric Charnetsky. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Looks like they're going to give the hit to Dom Presto.
Interesting call there. Very interesting call. It was a routine ground ball to James Mason at third base in the hole. Here comes the first pitch. Breaking ball snaps the inside corner for a called first strike, 0-1. Yeah, interesting. They did give him a hit. Started out with an error, but then they changed their mind going into the scoring. Couple looks over at second. Here comes the 0-1. Fastball, a little tardy. Charnetsky just gets a fingertip to the baseball. Slaps it foul, and now the count goes to 0-2. Moore looking to leave those runners stranded at first and second and keep this a 3-1 ball game. Auburn can easily get these runs back up within a couple of swings, but needs some help. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Runner takes off from third. Line drive, and it's just foul down the line. James Mason was trying to cover the bag at third base with the runner taking off, but ultimately was maybe an inch or two away from bringing this one back in and ending the inning right there. So we'll try this again at 0-2, and the runners will retreat back to their bags. Spencer Aubin aboard at second, and Dom Presto aboard at first base. Moore working from the first base side of the rubber, leans in, gets his sign, comes to the belt, and will spin move over to second base to keep the runners at bay. Moore back into a lean over his left leg. Bolton flashes his signals and now sets up on the outside corner. Runners take their leads. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a ground ball down the line. It chops foul into left field, and we'll try this at 0-2 yet again with Charnetsky hitting a couple of really close ground balls and line drives down that chalk of third. That one just kicked left at the very last moment. Now that brings James Mason to pretty much cover the line. He's a step away from the third base line, keeping that backhand ready and sharp. Carson as well takes a couple of steps in the sixth hole, and now time is called as Charnetsky wants to readjust the batting gloves. Michael Woolley takes a couple of steps more closer to the bag at second base up the middle. Garrett Prosper off the bag at first base. Healthy leads by the runner at first base and Dom Presto. Still hanging on to the bag is Spencer Aubin at second. Now he takes his lead. Here comes Moore's 0-2. Swing and a foul tip, and it just evades James Bolton's glove. So we'll try it again at 0-2. Bolton now to go back and talk with James Moore, handing him off the baseball, trying to get some confirmation on what pitch to throw here. This is a big spot going into the middle innings. Auburn with 1 run so far on 3 hits, 2 errors. Elmira 4 runs on 5 hits, no errors committed. Moore leans in over that left leg. He now comes set. Runners take their leads off first and second. The 0-2 pitch to the way, swinging a tapper in front of the plate. Does it make contact with the runner? No, it doesn't. The throw to first base is in time, and the side is retired. 2-man reach. James Moore leaves him stranded. We now go to the top of the 5th inning. The Doubledays trail the Pioneers by 3. It's 4-1. And welcome back to Dunfield, the Doubledays and the Pioneers currently locked at a 4-1 game. Elmira with the lead going into the top of the 5th. James Bolton, Michael Woolley, and Emil Sander, 8, 9, and 10 due up against Joseph Keltson, who's held his own so far, only surrendering 1 run back in the top of the 2nd inning. The right-hander from Cortland is ready in the box. Here comes the first pitch on the way from Keltson. A fastball grooved right over Main Street for a called first strike, going 1. Bolton with an infield single his first time up, a little tapper down the line at 3rd. The 0-1. Breaking ball off the end of the bat, kicks off the mound, and a chest-high bounce right to Chris Baer. The throw to first base is in time to get Bolton 1 away, and that will bring up Michael Woolley. Woolley popped out to shallow right field his first time up. That was back in the 2nd inning with a runner at 3rd base. Here's the first pitch. Breaking ball catches the outside corner for a called strike, going 1. May have just barely nicked the black. Here comes the 0-1. Fastball, little low downstairs for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike evens the count. Now Auburn has never ran back home after a game here feeling content. 1-1 pitch roasted down the 3rd base line, fair. It's going to go to the corner. Woolley with a turn around first base, puts the bag, and he's going to try for second. The throw is off target. Michael Woolley stands up at 2nd base, clapping his hands. It's a 1-out double here in the top of the 5th. And Auburn has a man in scoring position here with 1 away for Emil Sander. Pulls it down the 3rd base line. Joe Muzio doesn't even cause a step. He just watches it roll on by him into left field. A long run for Kevin Ness. Here's the first pitch to Sander. Fastball, where did that one catch? Just barely on the outside corner for a called strike, going 1. See the catcher Schroeder really pulling that one back in. Woolley was the lead off, 2nd base, Baer bringing in the 0-1. Swing, pop up, first base side, Keller giving chase, running out of room. It's off the roofing of the dugout and bounces away foul. No balls and 2 strikes now on Emil. Top of the order, Carson Grosso waiting on deck, but would love to see Emil come up in the clutch and see if he can cut this deficit in half. It's 4-1 our score here in the top of the 5th inning, just on the halfway point of this one. Auburn at risk of losing that 7-game winning streak right now. 8 over their last 10 games. Now time is called as Keltson wants to take a second to retie his right shoe. Strolling back up to behind the rubber, Emil digs himself back into the right-handed batter's box. Michael with his lead off of 2nd base with Chris Baer anchoring him on at 2nd. He evades back to the 2nd base position. Woolley taking a couple of more inches off the bag. Here's the 0-2 pitch coming home in the dirt outside for ball 1. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 4th hit of the ball game for the Doubledays, first one since 3rd. Keltson leans over, gets his sign, now comes set, looks over at Woolley. Dancing off the bag at 2nd, here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Emil goes chasing for a fastball up and away. It's the 4th strikeout of the ball game for Keltson. 2 away, and now it comes down to Carson Gross to see if he can drive home his golf mate from 2nd. Woolley with the 1-out double, still stranded at 2nd base. Carson with a 0-for-1 night. He walked in the 3rd inning, but was cut down trying to steal 2nd. Here comes the first pitch. In the dirt, taken down for ball 1, 1-0. You have James Mason, the batter, due up next. Carson with 10 RBIs on the year with a couple of doubles and 1 triple. Now it's back inside Falcon Park. Couple looks over at 2nd. Here comes the 1-0. Swing and a line drive, roasted foul. Off the wall and right, Carson really poked that one just a little out in front of it. 2 away for the Doubledays after a ground out by Bolton and then the strikeout to Emil. Doubledays 3rd time through the order now against Keltson. Michael dancing off the bag at 2nd, the 1-1. Swing and a ground ball over to 2nd, right to the glove of Chris Baer. Low throw to first base, and it's in time to retire the side. Well, the Doubledays get a man at 2nd base, but leave him stranded. We now go to the bottom of the fifth. Auburn still down by 3. It's 4-1. Picking things up here in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Doubledays still down 3. It's 4-1 as here comes the top of the order. Cam Levesque, Joe Muzio, and John Schroeder. 1, 2, and 3 lead off against the bullpen arm of James Moore. Currently out there all alone. No one warming up down the line in the bullpen. And time is called by the home plate umpire, who wants to reset everything as Moore was just about to get into his windup. Working from the first base side, here comes James Moore's first pitch of the inning. Squaring around a bunt is Levesque. He pulls back as a fastball misses upstairs for ball 1. The lights have been finally turned on inside of Dunn Field. Here comes the 1-0. Fastball taken on the outside corner for a called strike, going 1. Looks like the zone is about a pitch off the plate. Good to note for right-handers. Here comes a breaking ball waved at off the outside corner. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes. So far, James has been throwing a lot of bullets since entering on in the bullpen. That's 1 start on the year. That was back in the exhibition game, the 1-2. Fastball taken off the plate away for ball 2, 2-2, and it was a carbon copy of strike 1. The home plate umpire probably letting Bolton know to probably not jump up and start the throw around again. Exactly what he did. Here comes the 2-2 pitch on the way to Moore. Swinging a ground ball over to second base. Woolley has this one routinely. Sends a little toss over to first base. Pulls Prosper across his body. Anchors onto the bag still for the first out of the inning. 1 away, and that will bring up Joe Muzio. Hard to believe that this summer is coming to an end by the end of the week. I think at the end of next week, but then you have playoffs at the very end of July. Auburn right now on the outside looking in. Just a half game back behind the Niagara Power. Here comes the first pitch from Moore. Fastball popped up. Left center field. Who wants it? Emil Sander or Christian Melillo? It's Christian Melillo. He calls off Emil, gliding into left center field. He makes the catch on Muzio. 2 quick outs for James Moore here in the 5th. That will bring up John Schroeder. Schroeder entering into this at bat 1 for 2. He had the RBI single back in the 3rd inning. That gave the Pioneers the lead. The first pitch, swing and a pop-up. Shallow center field. Emil Sander has this one in his tracks. Waiting for this one to come down. A lot of hang time. He makes the catch, and the side is retired. We now go to the top of the 6th inning. The Doubledays looking for offense. They are down 3. Going into the very end of the middle innings. Here from Elmira. And welcome back to Elmira. You're listening to Auburn Baseball on the Doubledays Baseball Network. Trevor Curl welcoming you high up in the catbird seat above Dunn Field as we begin action here in the top half of the 6th inning. The Doubledays looking for any sort of answer they can provide against the right-hander Joseph Keltson. He's been pitching quite well since his start as the Doubledays, they're looking for answers. Keltson's 1 for 2 on the year, has an ERA of 2.25. He's given up 10 runs this year, only 8 of those have earned. As here comes James Mason, he'll lead things off. It'll be Mason, Martinez, and Stang, 2, 3, and 4. As the Doubledays currently down 3 runs, it's 4-1 here. As we begin the 6th. Mason, the right-hander, ready. The right-hander, Keltson, ready. While the windup delivers the first pitch, swinging a fly ball, shallow center field. Running in on it is Cam Levesque. He's there to make the catch. It's a first pitch, first out from the Doubledays third baseman. That'll bring up Hazel Martinez. 1 for 2 day for Hazel so far. It was a base hit back in the 3rd inning, a line drive into right field. Back-to-back ball games with hits for Hazel. Here's the first pitch. Fastball taken off the plate away for ball 1, 1-0. You know, when we go back to Falcon Park, Hazel Martinez actually has the longest on-base streak for a home team this year. Swings, line drive, right field. Going back is Cooper Smith. He turns his numbers. It's off the base of the wall. Martinez taking a big turn around first base. He holds up and throws the anchor on, retreats back to first. It's a 1-out double down the right field line by Hazel Martinez. His second hit of the ball game, the Doubledays' second double of this one. That makes them with 60 doubles. That was just a single by Martinez. He couldn't make the turnaround first base in time. Oh boy, it's been a long one here. Puts a runner at first base here with one away. That brings up Bobby Stang. Bobby, an 0 for 1 night with a walk and a run scored. Looks over at first. The first pitch to Bobby, a fastball pulled on the outside corner for a called strike, 0-1. Well, we mentioned the strike zone being a little bit expanded on the outside corner, about 1 ball off the plate. Here comes the right-hander's 0-1. Breaking ball, that one catches all the outside corner for a called strike, 0-2. Clouds still hanging on overhead, some nice pink and dark blue as we approach sundown. The 0-2 pitch swung on, line drive, left center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Martinez taking the turnaround second. He holds there. Back-to-back singles for the Doubledays, 3 and 4 hitters. Martinez aboard at second, Stang aboard at first base. And that will bring up Garrett Prosper now to hit. Well, it's a breaking ball on the outside corner. Bobby with a very long arms and a long bat. Able to one-hander this one out into the outfield. Left center field was an open alley. Prosper, now the batter, due up with runners at first and second. So now the inning has turned a little bit more into the Doubledays' favor. A right-hander looks in the first pitch. Fastball grooved over the outside for a called strike, 0-1. Garrett 0 for 2 so far, a fly out and a pop out. Auburn down 3. Garrett represents the tying run. Couple of looks over at second. Here's the 0-1. Fastball taken a little upstairs inside for ball 1. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now Keltson has to rework his steps out of the stretch now. Saw a lot more comfort out of the windup. Runners take their leads. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball catches the knees on the inside edge for a called strike 2. Garrett now entering into this ball game, batting .224 with a home run and 20 runs batted in. Couple of looks at second. Here comes the 1-2. Swing, line drive down the line, foul. Look out to the parked cars below. Prosper going hunting down the right field line. He comes up empty. We'll try it again at a ball and 2 strikes. Auburn does not want to leave any more runners aboard. They've left 5 on. Here's the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Prosper goes fishing out of the zone for a changeup. 2 away, and it comes down to A.J. Wenrich here in the inning. That's the 4th and 5th strikeout of the ball game so far for Keltson. As mentioned, Auburn leaving 17 men aboard last night. Currently now leaving possibly 7. Here comes the first pitch. Breaking ball bounces in the dirt. Martinez slams on the brakes and hustles his way back into second base, trying to get a good dirt ball read. It was a good stop by Schroeder, keeping the baseball still on the dirt on the home plate area. Martinez off second, Bobby off first. Couple looks over to the runner at second. Here comes the 1-0. Fastball up above the eyes for ball two now. AJ with one home run this year. It was a two-run shot to give the Doubledays the lead back on Sunday afternoon in game 2 of our doubleheader against the Tarp Skunks. One here would tie it. Here comes the 2-0. Fastball taken off the plate away for ball 3, 3-0. And with Christian Melillo due up next, he might see another opportunity to hit with the bases loaded, but with 2 outs. See if the red light is on for Prosper. Make that winner. It's a 3-0 is inside for ball 4. AJ thought about holding up before sending the bat down. Been loaded here in the top of the 6th inning for Christian Melillo. Auburn, we mentioned 0 for 9 with the bases loaded last night against Geneva. Cannot leave this opportunity as it is. You need to find a way to scrap a run or two across here. Down 3 going into the late innings. Elmira is still plenty dangerous on offense. The first pitch. Fastball taken on the inside corner for a called first strike, 0-1. Christian was not thrilled with the strike 3 that was called on him back in the 4th inning. 1 for 2 with an RBI already. Here comes the 0-1. Swing and a miss. Melillo's head sending it sharply down the right field line. Now down 0-2. Martinez at third, Bobby at second, Wenrich aboard at first. The right-hander Keltson comes set. Here comes the 0-2 to the plate. Fastball runs inside. Christian trying to turn his body to see if he can wear a pitch. Misses him off the corner. It's a ball and 2 strikes now the count. Time is called as Keltson took a step out, and Christian off the plate as well takes the time, and now time is called by the home plate umpire. Having to wait for Christian to be fully set in the box before the home plate umpire puts the game back in motion. Holding everything up, and now the home plate umpire calls time. Play ball indeed. Runners take their leads. Here's the stretch of the 1-2 pitch on the way. Bouncer in the dirt, but a good stop by Schroeder keeps everyone held at bay. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. It was a 20-pitch at-bat by Prosper a couple of weeks ago. He tied the ball game up with a single. Looking for a little magic here. Tying run aboard at first base. The right-hander looks in, gets his sign. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Swinging a foul. First base side out of play. We'll try this again at 2-2. Looking for any sort of offer. Get this run in. Cannot leave without getting a run here in the 6th inning. Your best chance of the ball game to get yourself back into this game. Here comes Keltson's 2-2. Swing, pop up, shallow left center field. Levesque is under it to make the catch, and the Doubledays combined the last 2 days are 0 for 10 with the bases loaded, and they can't find a way to scrap a run across. We now go to the bottom of the 6th. The Doubledays currently trailing 4-1. picking things up here in the bottom half of the sixth inning. The Doubledays had the bases loaded with 2 away and come out empty-handed. Meat of the order, Cooper Smith, Chris Bear, and Jake Kelleher. 4, 5, and 6 due up for the Pioneers against James Moore, who's back out for another inning of work. The first pitch, bunt gets squared around, but popped up foul behind the plate. No balls and a strike to start the at-bat to Smith. Reached on air back in the second, was caught stealing, and then hit a 2-run triple back in the third inning. Here comes Moore's 0-1. Fastball taken upstairs for a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike evens up the count. Oh, it's going to be a very quick turnaround tomorrow. Hopefully the boys can be able to rest up tonight before heading off to a doubleheader in Jamestown. The 1-1. Breaking ball taken on the inside corner for a called strike 2. Not sure if Moore wanted to put it in a little bit of a danger spot, but Cooper Smith taking all the way. Right-hander digs back in. Moore on the mound ready. Looks into Bolton, who sets up outside off the plate. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Fastball pulled inside off the corner for ball 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. No one else warming up in the bullpen for the Doubledays. This is James Moore's inning, and who knows how much longer. The 2-2. Breaking ball taken upstairs for ball 3, and now the count runs full. 3-2 on Cooper Smith. Certainly getting louder and louder as this game progresses. The 3-2. Fastball taken for ball 4. It's a leadoff walk to Cooper Smith, and that will bring up Chris Bear. Oh, we all know what the Doubledays can possess on offense. It's just interesting how the tides have changed when the Doubledays earlier, and by earlier I mean at the beginning of yesterday's game, were hitting with the bases loaded. About 20 or so at-bats, they were batting .375. They were really getting the job done. A move to first base, back in diving safely is Bear. Excuse me, make that Cooper Smith diving back to the bag safely. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. A foul tip actually into the glove of Bolton for a swing and strike 0-1. But over the last 10 at-bats with the bases loaded, Auburn cannot find a way to crack the board. Haven't even found a way to get a hit in that stretch. Another move back to first base, and Moore zipping it over to Garrett Prosper. Applies the tag down. Moore got himself bailed out of a wide throw, and back in the 4th inning, the 0-1. Breaking ball off the plate away for ball 1 to even up the count at 1-1. And man, this zone can be ever changing sometimes. Those pitches were called strikes earlier. Now they're inexistent off the corner. The 1-1. Swing and a miss. Good up empty.